All right, Sheea here from Maui, sharing about my medicine journey weekend that I had for the first time in that way as a double. One of the main themes that came up for me was how much of an inside job this experience is as far as life goes. So I think we may have all heard, or most of us have heard about how it's an inside job. You know, like whatever you do in here, in your brain, in your heart, you know, the healing and stuff, it's then what's great is that then the world on the outside reflects back what's going on here. So I've heard that before, I knew that, but it's like I was invited by Spirit to really go deep with that concept, because you can get active about it so that it's really going into place. So this is how it showed up for me. And this is a universal truth that's worth $1 million, way more. So what I was shown was how, and this is how you beat the matrix, honestly. So I kind of had this image of me like holding, you know, there's sky up here and there's earth down below, and how, yeah, I've got my hand on, you know, my hand's down here, and like I'm touching both of them, but my invitation was to bring them together, you know, in here, like solar plexus and heart, to where they're locking, you know, where I'm locking heaven and earth. And that's true manifestation, being able to do that. And what I mean by that is, if I am in love with myself and in love with life, everything gets manifested from that place. If I'm in a positive place where my thoughts are all around how everything conspires for my good, and that this is all perfect, which, by the way, ayahuasca showed me that the first time she was with me. I got to see how perfect this is in its imperfection, because it's designed so perfectly that there's no flaw in it. So even things that supposedly are, you know, negative experiences, it's actually designed that way for a reason, to access you in the way you need to be accessed. And then we also have free will and the ability to create what we want to. And if we are unknowingly asleep and thinking about negative things and our fears and our doubts and manifesting that instead, then that's what you're going to get. So the way that this looks in an action way is, I was seeing myself dancing in my living room naked, as a form of expression, as a form of self-love, like really getting into the music, and even being on my own personal medicine journey if I felt led to at times, but doing it without as well, and falling in love with myself, and falling in love with my body, and falling in love with my consciousness, and, you know, even just looking at every little body part and loving it and appreciating it, and, you know, touching different parts of my body and acknowledging it for all that it is and for how amazing it is, and supporting it instead of always telling it it's not good enough. And that's the kind of the action plan that I was given, is how that could look, because I need more forms of expression in general, like dancing and singing I love, but I rarely do it. And so that was kind of what came to me. And then also, you know, like I mentioned before, affirmations play a big role. So I've been accessing Brian Scott's affirmations and meditations, because they're the best I've found so far on YouTube, Brian Scott. And, you know, like I listened to one last night that was about manifesting your soulmate. Really powerful. And, you know, I actually made my own affirmations. So I have, you know, going on 20 now, where it's my voice and I am, you know, just customizing them as to what I want to create in my life, in the way of money, in the way of relationship, in the way of health and fitness and, you know, everything. Like, they're themed that way. And then I use like a singing bowl or chime or something after each set or after each affirmation, because then the vibration of that makes it go into the cells. That's how that works, by the way, and partly why people do the singing bowls and why that's a thing. In case you always wondered what that was about, the vibration allows those statements to go deeper into your consciousness and your subconscious and your cells of your body. And it's really fun. It's really fun to create your life. Like, I was even just driving to yoga today and on the way back too, and just making affirmation statements, you know, like, I am the poster child epitome of the divine feminine and all her beauty, and, you know, because it's making statements like that that brings that into reality until I actually embody it 100%. So anyway, I just wanted to share that amazing concept that was one of the themes of my medicine journey, of how it's an inside job. And then I'm starting to really pick up on how those thoughts, and I've been listening to Joe Dispenza on YouTube, because he explains it really well. So I'm like really getting it on a much deeper level, where I'm able to put action into it and be like, oh, so that's what you do. You're catching yourself. You're, you know, voicing what you do want. Whenever you find yourself thinking about or even speaking what you don't want, you have to stop yourself and reword it so that you're phrasing it in such a way that of what you do want. So an example is, if I catch myself saying, yeah, you know, my childhood, I was neglected. Instead of saying that, because even though that's how I felt for a long time, if I say it that way, then I am re-solidifying that reality, and that's not the reality that I want. Because a lot of things are perspective, and that's how I was seeing it, but that doesn't necessarily means that that's how I have to see it forever. So if I catch myself instead and say, yeah, you know, I am working with my mom and dad and childhood stuff right now, and retelling that story, rewriting that story. And I trust that if neglect was a part of that story, that it was there for a reason. Yeah, that's pretty profound. It was there for a reason. And this is where you trust the universe and yourself, that this was created for a reason. Now, I might have created it because I kept recreating it, because that's what happens. We loop, and we, you know, if we're too much in our pain body, if I'm in my pain body around feeling neglected, then I keep recreating it. And that's why you got to stop it in its tracks and be like, no, I'm going to say instead that there's a reason why things showed up the way they did. And of course, you have to take responsibility for your part in it too, which is super humbling. And of course, I'm not going to hate myself for anything. I did the best I could, you know. And I felt, you know, a lot of times we do feel like the victim. But instead, it's like, you know, I know that I personally I belong to Source. I belong to Mother, Father, God. I've made that conscious decision. And I highly recommend that. If you haven't done that yet, that's like step one. And by the way, I grew up Christian, so, you know, that's the getting saved or being reborn thing is basically all it is saying, Mother, Father, God, I want you in my life because I don't want to do this by myself. That's the it in a nutshell. Whether it looks Christian or not, it doesn't matter. Just do that step and watch your life change. So what I was saying is, I do trust that they're always working with me, and that they're also orchestrating things and, you know, guiding and all that. So it's a co-creation. And you really don't have any choice, honestly, but to trust the universe that what is happening, it's showing up for a reason. And most of the time we have to take responsibility for the fact that it's showing up because we attracted it, we created it, unknowingly or unknowingly, because our subconscious is running most of the show, they say. And then it's usually the subconscious is our blind spot. So that's where, when you're waking up, you start to realize, oh God, I am thinking negative thoughts, and oh, I am saying these things about my life, and I don't want that to be my truth. And so I need to stop. So it's all about becoming a master of your thoughts and then also of your words, because they're super powerful. I'm going to leave it there for today, my loves. And may your life and may you be everything you ever dreamed it would be, because it's coming, it's happening, whether you like it or not. And you are loved whether you like it or not. You are loved, period. And you may not feel it right now, but Mother, Father, God created you. And you are loved. And there's nothing you can do about it. In the best way ever.